Hi, this is Rick Fuqua from Real Performance Machinery, and I'm with Carl Korbacher today from Arizona Sports Shirts. And we're talking to Carl about his business. Carl, could you tell us a little bit about your company, how long you've been in business, and what kind of markets you serve?
I think it was 78 we bought our first automatic machine, which was on the West Coast, and it was a precision oval. It's a 5-color oval, because that was the best there was at that time. Obviously things have evolved since then. We went in, from there we went into M&R Challengers, which were good at the time. We went into Centurions, which were really a good machine, but they took a long time to set up. We moved out of the Centurions and into some Formulas, which was produced by M&R, and they were more of a, they're really nice, but they're more of a beast. They're just almost too big to handle. They had too many options, too many things that can go wrong with them. So that's why we moved into these machines, the RPMs. It's just the simplicity of it, and you got a lot of room to head to work around. There's a lot of thought that goes into the machines. It was designed by a screen printer as opposed to an engineer.
Notice when I was walking around, you got a lot of sports type of T-shirts. Of Outlaws, is that correct?
Correct. We do all the printing for the World of Outlaws on the sprint cars and the late models and the dirt cars. It's just something we've been around for a long time in that market. We're probably the top screen printer for auto racing T-shirts in the country.
So let's just recap on what you're doing with this equipment. We're standing here in the middle of 3 14-color machines. You've got oversized print capability on these machines. They're 18 by 22. I'm assuming that's almost necessary in the racing business and the sporting goods business at this point. So you've got a larger print area to work with, but in terms of those quick setups and teardowns, do you have any idea, for example, how many setups you might do in a day on this equipment versus what you were able to do in the past on older equipment?
Yeah, we'll try to squeak out about 20 runs a day for the 3 machines. In the old days, with film and things like that, to get it lined up, it would take us the better part of an hour to line up a 14-color job, because you're lining it up on blacks. Then you got to switch over a little bit and set it up for the whites. So it took 45 minutes to an hour to set up a 10-color design. Now with the direct-to-screen product, and then we come over here with the Tri-Lock system, basically you just throw your screens and put them on the Tri-Lock system, and it takes us about 10 to 15 minutes to set up a 12-color design, and it's pretty close when you're ready to run.
Yeah, I noticed that we were able to grab a little bit of footage of one of your employees setting up a job today. And I think it's the job that's still on the press over here. I was looking at the camera as he was setting up. It looked like it was about 10, 11 minutes to set that job up. And, for this size press, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, the nice thing is that Tri-Lock system works whether you're going to throw on a sleeve print, if you're going to throw on an adult print, if you're going to throw on a kid's print. It doesn't matter as long as that image is in the same place on your screen, on every screen. As long as that image is there, it's gonna lock in, and that's, like I say, it'll take us 10 minutes to change the pallets and another 10 minutes to get them registered, and we can go from a full-size 1822 screen to a long sleeve print, which is 4 inches by 18 inches, or we can throw on a toddler's, which is 8 inches wide by 20 inches. So I mean, there's a lot. I'm paying these guys by the hour to work, to print, and they're going to get the same amount of pay if they're sitting on their butt, or if they're lining up a machine, or if they're printing. So I'd rather have them printing.
Now, when you're wanting to have them printing and you're wanting to set these jobs up quickly, had you experimented or tried anything with any other system other than Tri-Lock in the past, or had you tried the Tri-Lock system without your direct-to-screen imaging device?
The Tri-Lock system without the direct-to-screen, the only trouble you have is you're taping film onto your screens. Now, maybe somebody's better than I am, but when I tape something onto a screen, I'm never going to get it in the same place every time. So you could be just a couple millimeters out every screen. Then that's every screen you got to touch, go back in and fix. So with the direct-to-screen, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's not a problem. It's in the same place on every screen. So that's very important. It all ties together.
Yeah. So could I say safely for those who are looking at maybe getting a setup device that without a direct-to-screen device, they may not achieve anything with trying to use a product like that, or Or do you think there's any value to it if you don't have a direct-to-screen device?
It'll get you close, but you know how good close is. It's not good for everything, but it'll get you dialed in a little better. But film is getting expensive anyway. The reason we quit, we have a couple of oil printers up for thermal imaging, and that film's getting to be $300 or $400 a roll, and you go through 4 or 5 rolls a week, you're talking a lot of money. Now we're just going through toner, basically, and it's $180 a bottle, and I can last over 2-3 weeks on one bottle.
Okay.
So there's a huge savings there, which will eventually pay for your machine, and the time you save in setups will offset any cost you involve.
What about maybe lastly here on the RPM machines? You have a lot of digital features, as you can see by looking at the control panel on each of the print heads. Have you found that those features have helped you over any other more basic equipment that you've had in the past? Is this also adding to the quicker setup times, this type of technology?
Absolutely. You can go in there and you can adjust your squeegee pressures, you can adjust your angles, you can adjust everything really, really quickly. And from one head to the next head that you have the same squeegee pressure if that's what you're trying to attain.
I mean, the digital information as opposed to looking at a grid.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look at there, and if it's 0.65, you just put 0.65 because you know it's going to work. You don't have to sit there and go and make test run after test run, because that ends up costing you money too. As if you're running on Pellons or if you're running on junk shirts, whatever you're running on, everything costs money. So we try to hold that. That's why we moved into this machine. Well, we moved into this machine also because of the service of some people. Screen printers have a habit of abusing machinery, simply because that's where we come from. We're abusers. So whether we're not cleaning it up, whether we're not lubing it properly, whether we're not greasing it, there's always something teched up. That's why we went with you, because if I call you, you'll answer your phone, and when I have a problem, if you're in the area, you'll be here. If you're not in the area, you'll walk me through how to fix something, and I'll get the part. Most of your parts are really easy to get.
Well, we're tooting our horn a little bit here, but I think one of the things that I would ask you is, have you found that with more technology that your equipment has become harder to repair or easier? Because I think a lot of our customers sometimes, when they see more technology, if a competitor doesn't have that, they might discourage them, making the customer think that they're running a risk for having a high maintenance product. We've already talked about the features that the digital features give you. What about keeping them up and running? Is the overall sophistication of the machine more difficult or perhaps even easier than stuff that you've had in the past? I know you've had a lot of different equipment.
Obviously, with technology, it's measured in months. It's not measured in years. It's not measured in decades. I mean, I don't know how many out there still have the same computer they had 20 years ago. I had machines that were 20 years old in a shop, and they acted like a 20-year-old machine. You were constantly trying to fix them, and you didn't have the technology. Now with this technology, I mean, it's a lot simpler. The only unfortunate thing for me is it allows a lot of people to get into this business that really aren't as bright as they could be. I mean, it's taken away a lot of the thinking, but that's today's world.
Well, let me ask you in closing here. Looking at the size of your shop, your building is very, very large, and you've got 3 large machines. You pretty much filled up, perhaps, I don't know. In terms of size, are you happy where you're at? Are you looking to go into other markets?
For the last 40 years, all I've been thinking about is growing and growing and growing. Now with a lot of the government involvement that we have in businesses nowadays, I'm pretty much where I want to be. I'm leveled off. I have 3 machines. We're running them about 12 hours a day now. There's another 12 hours in the day if I have to. So I can always go to a round-the-clock printing. I don't need any more machines. I don't need any more building. I mean, taxes and things like that limit you to what you can do now. So I'm leveling off. I'm going to stay where I am, and I can get busier should I really want to. Right now, I like going home at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I like going home and sitting down and eating dinner and normal things like normal people do, not here all the time.
So what you're doing is you're insinuating that previous years may have taken a few more hours than 8 to run your business.
We would have, yeah. Again, if it takes you 15 minutes to set up a design, instead of 45, I've just saved that hour. Or, by the time I get it all set up on two sides, I've saved that hour. And that hour, I'd rather spend at home or in a bar or something.
Well, thanks, Carl. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick.